Mike, Joie, certainly a terrific speed weeks, a great Daytona 500. Mike, your thoughts about just the great job that the folks did out there tonight to take on a very tough challenge, but then also what a race we had here tonight.
Yeah, the entire Speed Weeks has been very entertaining and interesting, I think, and certainly today got off to a start that we had hoped to have been celebrating the Daytona 500 winner earlier this morning, and as we addressed the weather and moving the postponed time back even a little bit further today, I think worked out fairly well. Mother Nature cooperated this evening. In regards to the incident in turn 3, every year for the past several years, we've hosted a summit that supplements our at-track visits with a group of NASCAR officials who focus on working with the tracks to address unusual situations that may happen at the racetrack that we know from experience. But what we do know from experience is that we can't prepare for everything, and I think this evening was one of those incidents that everybody had to collectively react to. And I compliment Joey and his staff for the effort that went into taking something that was very complicated, could have been even more complicated, and pulling it together so that we could finish the Daytona 500, which was on everybody's list to do. But we have at this summit, we have over 700 track workers from all over the country and some foreign countries that attend for 3 days, and they go through a lot of refreshment courses and conversations, if you will, because as I mentioned, NASCAR has a group of officials that go to the tracks independently of the race weekends to specifically help the first responders at the racetracks to be prepared for the uniqueness of our safety area inside the cockpit, the uniqueness of our fuel, the uniqueness of our roll cages, and et cetera, so that we can react. As I say, most of that focus is on the car itself, but that training and that experience and the talent that the tracks, and particularly in this case Daytona, has working the events can collectively come together and respond to something that's highly unusual, and I think that's what we saw happen today.
Joy, talk about the outstanding job that your folks did here throughout Speed Weeks. Congratulations on that, and certainly job well done here this evening.
I'm very proud of the team in terms of what we were able to do. Obviously, the last 48 hours have been very challenging in terms of rain delays and trying to complete the 500 miles. But what the team did today in terms of responding to a burning jet dryer on the racetrack, I think is phenomenal. And the fact that we got to finish the race under green is a heck of an accomplishment. The team was prepared, the expertise was there, the training was there, the teamwork with NASCAR was there. I think it was phenomenal what happened. We had approximately 200 gallons of burning jet fuel on the racetrack. We had to respond to the incident, deal with the driver of the jet truck, the driver of the race car, had to suppress the fire, then applied quick dry or oil dry to soak up any of the excess fuel that was still there. Following that, we watered the track, we soaped the track, we then watered it again to clean up any soap. After that, we applied a street bond to make sure that any excess stone or anything that was showing from the actual fuel leak was covered. We then dried it with blowers, with one of our sweepers, and then we actually ran a jet dryer over it. It's about a 10 or 11 step process. There is not a true training manual to light a track on fire and respond to it. There's no way to do that. That's something that you have to talk about in theory. The worst possible thing that can happen to a racetrack is fuel. We hardly ever talk about burning fuel. Fuel alone is bad enough. So I'm really proud of the way the team responded. I was in race control with Mike, and I think the team really did a great job, and we were in the loop every step of the way.
We've got time for a few questions. We'll take one here from Dan, and we'll go to Mike. Go ahead, Dan.
Dan Wetzel with Yahoo Sports. Did either of you see the accident happen as it happened, or did you hear about it, and how did you hear about it? And then there was some talk about like Tide being used. Is that accurate, or some kind of cleaner?
Well, I'll answer the first part of your question. I'll let Joey answer the Tide part. There obviously we run to caution, and there's a lot of observation as a caution unfolds, and particularly when it relates to cars on the track, re-entering the track from pit road, around the safety workers and the cleanup crews and the jet dryers. And so the incident was observed and as it unfolded. Yeah, among others in the tower, because it was as I say, there's always a high level of observation going on, and particularly under caution, there's a lot of things happening at the same time. So we visibly watch for different things. I'll save that one for later. Well, I mean, you know, in serious, I'm making light of a situation because it's late and it turned out okay, but you know, it's probably the same as what you all reacted to when you saw the first video clip of it show up on the monitors. It got your attention really quick.
Joey, you want to talk about the Tide?
We typically use a laundry detergent to wash the track, and so we did use that laundry detergent during this event.
Let's go to Jenna in the far left corner. Go ahead, Jenna.
Jennifer, AP. Mike, I know you haven't seen the TV ratings or anything like that, but your thoughts on a night race? Is this something that you would consider a weeknight night race in prime time?
Yeah, I don't know. We did this one to get this one done. It wasn't scheduled originally to be this way. I think everybody came together to make it work the best we could. Fox certainly participated in a very professional manner, helping us get the coverage of the Daytona 500 that everybody wanted. And I was incredibly impressed with the fans that returned and stayed in the grandstand for the Daytona 500, and that's kind of what drives. It's not kind of. That is what drives our decision to try to get the track ready to finish the 500-mile race, because that's what everybody wants to do. And that worked out good for us tonight. And it was an exciting race. We had a very exciting Speed Weeks, as I mentioned, and I thought tonight was worthy of coverage and participation. And we're very grateful for all the fans that stuck it out here and stuck with us back home through the red flag and through the weather incident and everything. But you know, as we go forward and we put our schedules together, the primary interest is weekends, because that's what we do. But tonight, unfortunately, gave us a sample to look at, I guess, for down the road.
Go ahead, far left corner. Go ahead, please.
Go back to the burning fuel. Thought it was interesting. You guys said your workers do train for it. Do the suits they have, are they fire retardant? Do you guys have a special equipment for burning jet fuel specifically?
Well, as part of running any event, any of our fire safety crew, the folks that respond to cleanup are all dressed in fire suits. Actually, there's different colors for the responsibility you have on racetrack. So you'll see a gentleman in red and yellow. So yes, they do have helmets on as well. So there's some specs that we actually have with NASCAR as it relates to some minimum requirements that we need to actually run events. Part of that is the safety equipment that our workers wear.
Let's go up to the press box. Nate Ryan, you have a question?
I do, USA Today. Joey, there was a pretty good crowd here tonight, it seemed like. I didn't know if, I guess just your thoughts on that. Are you surprised by how many people returned tonight, and do you have any thoughts on why? Was it a big local crowd maybe? And I think some of us up here saw that maybe there weren't quite as many track personnel, so maybe people might have an easier time getting in even if they didn't have tickets.
Well, I can tell you that the first thing that we staffed appropriately were gates and ticket takers. So we tried to make sure that anyone who had a ticket from yesterday got in. But joking aside, I was impressed with the crowd. That really beat my expectation in terms of the first time that we've ever had to rain delay, and then of course the additional postponement to run a prime time show. I was extremely happy and really pleased that the crowd stuck it out. Also, it's the first time, we talked about the first time in 54 years that the race has been delayed to Monday, and of course the first time it's been run in prime time under the lights. It's the first time I think we believe that our fans in the grandstands actually performed the wave and that was during the red flag of the incident. So it was a fun crowd. They were reacting great, and they stayed till the very end.
Let's come back downstairs. We'll take one more question. Jenna?
I guess for Mike and Joey. Joey, I know you come from a stunt family, so you've probably seen a lot of crazy stuff, but have either of you seen as much as we crammed into this event?
I would say at some point in the tower, as we were dealing with the incident, I thought it's probably safer risking my life as a stuntman than being the president of the Daytona International Speedway. There's been a lot of activity here the last couple of years. We've had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, tonight validates what we do. We train, we prepare. This is the World Center of Racing, and I'll be honest, if we would have talked about having 200 gallons of burning jet fuel on the racetrack during the event, I'm not sure what the likelihood would have been of completing the race or having a surface that could be used to race. So I am really proud of my team and how they responded, and we finished the Daytona 500 the right way, which is under green, and a lot of fans in the stands cheering it on.
After the rain and you finally get the race in, were you ever at a point like, what else can happen?
Well, you know, the things do cross your mind, but you would think after 65 years and running all the races that NASCAR has run over the past 6.5 decades that you've seen about everything. And a lot of what you've seen gives us the experience that causes us to have the safety summit and the training programs and everything. But you do think about, oh my gosh, if that can happen, what else could happen type thing. And that gives you pause to sit and try to figure out what might else could happen so that you can be as ready for it as you can.
Mike, Joey, thank you very much. Terrific job for Speed Weeks. Thank you.